So, Coach, how important was it for you to get off to such a fast start as you did tonight?
I think it's always important, to come up with the first goal. There's not too many times when you get a multiple goal lead in this game. It's always seems to be nip and tuck, and you're, scratching to get the winner or the one that puts the game away, and to, kind of have some good bounces, some good fortune, and be playing well was important. I really thought that, the biggest thing was our penalty kill. They had some opportunities, and they really kind of took the pressure. We put the pressure on them, and kind of, I think, probably demoralized them a little bit, in the early going.
You talk about the team defense today. It seemed like you were blocking a lot of shots for both of you, especially in those first two periods and on the penalty kill.
Sure. Jen, you got a comment on that? Team defense?
I feel like everyone just, when they're going in front of the puck, to try and minimize Spurrier's work and hopefully not get pucks through, so there's no chance of tips or rebounds. So I think we did a really good job today.
What changed in the third period that allowed Harvard to get those 2 goals?
I think they had an awful lot of opportunities, on a man advantage, and sooner or later, there's a chance they're going to capitalize. They're one heck of a good hockey team, and we use up an awful lot of energy to do it, and it gets a little bit demoralizing and discouraging when you have to keep doing it.
Can you tell us a little bit what you said during that timeout after the second Harvard goal?
Yeah, the second one was one that went in off of Kaylee Fracton's skate. We were defending pretty well. The first one was 5-on-3, which again, 5-on-3s are probably 35–40%. And, I'm not a big fan of those being given out too easily, but I thought that the second one took a little bit of a bad bounce, and, obviously there was a lot of penalties going against us, and we had to make sure that we didn't, compound matters. We didn't lose our composure, and we closed the deal, and I think everybody, did their best to do that. We had to kill off one more penalty in the end. But we're going to be have been in those situations. We'll continue to be in those situations, and we've got to make sure we find a way to get it done. And I think we did ultimately tonight, but it was a grind down the end with all the penalties.
Well, Coach Droscher, I got one Whitefield's take on team defense. What did you think of your team's defense tonight, especially from the forwards coming back?
Well, I thought it was great early in the game. Again, I looked up and there were 4 shots on goal for them, and we were early in the second period, and I think midway or even late in the second, it was something like 6 or 7. And they had, again, the power plays that started to add up. There were 6 through 2 periods, and again, that meant we were keeping pucks away from the net. We were clearing pucks, so I'd say overall it was pretty darn good. But again, you can't keep playing this game 5-4.
Is there any motivation coming into the game being the only team that's not ranked? I mean, obviously you're having a great season, and it's not like there's a big gap there, but just knowing you have 3 teams that are ranked and you're trying to get there, is that, kind of a little edge to want to prove yourself against them?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we were ranked at the beginning of the year and then had a few setbacks, but we have everyone back and everyone's on the same page now. And I feel like it's just proving that we should get in the rankings sooner than later.
You had 5 different goal scorers in the game. Can you talk about the depth of your offense?
Nice balance tonight, and everybody, any good team needs balance. We can't count on one person or 2 people to do it all the time. And that also, I think, allows people to start to realize that we do have not only multiple scorers, but we're starting to get on maybe a little bit of an offensive roll here. It was only 3 on Saturday, but the 6th game before, the 2 games before, and now to get 5 tonight against a real good team, it's starting to become a nice run. And I always say, if we play good defense, we'll get our chances, we'll get our opportunities at the other end, and that's been pretty true. But the biggest reason is we played pretty close to 60 minutes for the last 4 games, and we weren't really doing a good job of that early in the year.
Do you think the crowd and playing on home ice had any effect on the game today?
Yeah, I think it was fantastic. It seemed to be an awful good crowd there. People came in for our game. I think, we get pretty good support from the students, which is fantastic. And without a doubt, it energized our team. And I think when you combine that with the fact that I think the kids are getting a little bit of confidence. That's important. You know, we did have a pretty good run the first 13 or 14 games of the year, and then we ended the semester and kind of started the semester with a couple of hiccups. And you know, we can talk about, again, injuries. We can talk about people missing for tournaments. We can talk about some of those things. But we compounded it by, again, not playing 60 minutes and maybe being a little mentally softer than we should be. When one goal went in, we seemed to find a way to let them get 2 or 3, and we've sort of closed that off a bit now.
I'd like to hear from both of you on this. You got Northeastern coming up in the finals of this Beanpot tournament. You beat them, of course, last week, 3-2, close game, and Northeastern's got one of the best goalies in the league. Just talk about keys to that game.
I mean, they're a really fast team, and obviously Schelling's a very good goaltender. So I feel like we're just going to have to get a lot of pucks on net and capitalize on the rebounds that she lets out.
Yeah, there's no question where, you know, Florence Schelling sits. She's a fantastic elite goaltender who's played at a higher level than this, you know, being in the Olympic Games and World Tournaments. So I think a lot starts with her, but I'll echo what Jen said, that they're not only a fast team, but they're a very, very quick team. You know, they play it well in those 10, 15, 20-foot areas where you think you might have a chance to get up the ice or get free, and they take a couple steps in the stick and they're on you. And without a doubt, you know, their biggest difference, I think, from last year is that Kendall Coyne is a fantastic individual player as well. That it gives them that extra something up front.
Well, how do you not look ahead of the New Hampshire game that you have coming up before you play Northeastern?
Well, if you're asking me, I gave them 15 hours. That's till 2 o'clock tomorrow when we'll ride the bike for 15 minutes and stretch out. And the good thing maybe is that we didn't play very well up there, and that was a game that I think we you know, played real good first, real good third, but kind of went to sleep in the second. And you know, they got 3 goals and we couldn't rally to get it done. So hopefully that's sort of motivation for us.
In the middle is Marie-Philippe Glenn.
Well, Marie-Philippe, this is your first Beanpot game. What did you think of it?
It was exciting. I think we had a good crowd, and just the BU band, BU fan, I think they were supporting us tonight, and it was just awesome, just the ambience and all this stuff going on.
This is only your 3rd game back after after suffering another injury. Can you tell us how you feel out there on the ice?
I feel good. I think we have a good trainer here at BU. I think she trained me really hard during my injuries, and I'm just happy to be back with the team and for sure to be part in this season that left. I think we're good to a good start, so hopefully we're going to keep going.
How did you feel about the team's offensive production tonight?
I think it was good. I think everyone there worked really hard, and I think we know Beanpots are a big thing for us at BU here, and we just want to win it, and hopefully we're going to keep going. It's going to be a good game on next Tuesday.